you became the national president of Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
Yes.
How did that happen? One of your passions was Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. So when I look at your LinkedIn, uh, there's a timeline thing here where you were still working at Rockwell, and then you started getting more and more involved with Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and then eventually you became the national president of Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
Yes.
How did that happen?
So I just moved up the ranks. I don't know why it seemed kind of easy for me. I don't know, because I was always an officer except for 1 year of my ship career, and that's when I moved to Houston. But I was always involved in a committee, or if I was not in a committee, I was an officer. And I became the regional vice president for ship, so I got to sit on the national board. And actually, as a student, as a college student, I also got to sit on the national board, and I loved it. Those experiences were really cool, and everyone got along really well. We were all a bunch of Latinos that, brought the culture as well as the engineering aspect to the engineering society. So I wanted to keep going with that. And then when the opportunity came about, I ran for president because I felt that there were some changes that needed to be made within the organization, and we needed to be more businesslike, more professional. So that's what made me decide to do it. And I still don't believe that I did it because it happened so long ago.
Yeah. So what was the moment when you realized that you had to leave? Did you have were you forced to leave NASA to pursue it once
No,
you became president? No, you weren't. Okay.
no, I had to get their okay to be able to run for office because I'd be
Yeah.
traveling with. So they
Yeah.
were fine with it. So I did both jobs, and it was like having
Wow.
two jobs at the same time. So it's really difficult. And at that time, actually, my husband and I were deciding to leave, and he left before I did. He came to Phoenix
Yeah.
first, and then I followed 3 months after because I just could not live without him.
Yeah.
So I moved out here. So my second year as ship national president, I was here in Phoenix. So that was really good because I was doing it full time.
Okay.
And it took me that amount of time to find my next job anyway. So that kind of worked out well. But I had to travel to LA every month because our corporate office was there and I managed the staff. I was doing the CEO job at the time. So it was really difficult because I was not only just the president of the organization, I also had to manage the staff. So it was
Wow.
a really great experience because I just kind of got thrown into the water
Yeah.
and I either had to sink or swim. It was a very stressful volunteer position,
Yeah.
but it was great in that I learned a lot and gained many friends, which I am still friends with, and I'm still part of the organization. And I owe the organization a lot because, as I said before, that's where I got to develop my organizational skills and my leadership skills. So I
Yeah.
will never leave ship.
Mm. So for my audience that's not as familiar with it, I think the name pretty well explains what SHIP is, but what does SHIP do for engineering students or for engineering professionals? What do people get out of being involved in SHIP?
So if people don't know, um, in 1974, a group of engineers got together and they created the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers because they wanted to have an organization to help Latino students succeed in engineering, provide opportunities, mentorship, training, that sort of thing. So slowly, SHIP started forming these leadership trainings, and they would teach you basic stuff like how to do a presentation, for example, which is really hard for a lot of people, especially if you're an introvert. And I was an introvert, believe it or not. I was voted shyest in my high school class, which is totally unbelievable. People laugh when I tell them that. Um, but one of the leadership trainings that I had to do as a student president was do a presentation about one of the ship programs. And it was terrifying, but it was great. I mean, once you get through that major hump and keep going, you just keep accelerating and progressing and getting better and better at all of this stuff. And what I like about SHIP is that it doesn't just give you opportunities technically, it helps you with your soft skills
Yeah.
and your leadership skills. And I tell people often that I get of those soft skills, I've obtained them from SHIP. Yes, my companies have provided that, but not into the greatest capacity that SHIP has done. So I think if you become a leader within SHIP, that's the biggest benefit you can have. But a lot of students just go and to the conference, which is held once a year when they have tons of workshops on different topics, professional development, also for our professional members. And the career fair is the biggest thing because that's where they can find an internship or a permanent job. And I don't really know how many companies attend that career fair anymore, but I know it's humongous.
Yeah.
So if you're an engineer and you want to find a job, you go there. You go to that conference.
Yeah. Cool. And I think it's a phenomenal organization. I don't know if there was a ship chapter at my university, but I know we had a NISB chapter, we had a Swede chapter. So all of the organizations that exist to help underrepresented populations in engineering, I am a massive supporter of them because the more diverse our teams are, the better our teams are. That's just a fact. I believe it
Yes,
wholeheartedly, and we need more engineers from all different kinds of backgrounds because better backgrounds build better projects, and I believe that 100%. So thank
yes,
you
I
for your
agree.
involvement. Yeah, so thank you so much for your involvement with SHIP and for sharing a little bit more about that. So you mentioned that you left NASA.
Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.